Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. It's a special meeting of council held March 27th. So first item on the agenda, approval of the agenda.
It's moved by Councillor Barker, seconded by Councillor Kiley, that council approves the agenda for its special meeting of March 27th, 2018 as presented.
All in favor? Thank you. Declarations of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Petitions and delegations? There's none tonight. Acceptance of the minutes and recommendations.
It's moved by Councillor Kiley, seconded by Councillor Barker, that council accepts the minutes of the meeting to open proposals for the interim waste management recycling services, tender RFT-506-18.
All in favor? Thank you. Reports of municipal officers and communications. Ashley, we're going to talk about interim waste management services.
Yes, thank you. So as most of you are aware, the town of Kirkland Lake canceled its waste and recycling curbside collection and landfill operations contract with TNR on March 16th. On March 15th, council decided on issuing a mini RFT, so a request for tender, for the purpose of hiring an interim waste recycling collection contractor for a 4-month period with a possible extension of an additional 2 months. They also agreed to bring the landfill operations internally in order to reduce the costs during this transition. So on March 21st at 2 p.m., a meeting was scheduled to open the tenders associated with the mini RFT for the interim waste recycling curbside collection contract. 4 submissions were received by the request for tender deadline. The lowest bid that was received was $198,400, and the highest was $401.12. There was 1 late submission. Staff met on March 22nd at 10 a.m. to evaluate the submissions and come to a consensus on which contractor to recommend to council. Based on the evaluation used, it came to very thorough analysis. We did look at 4 different elements: the qualifications, which included the individual's experience and ability to perform all functions from administrative through to collection and reporting; the proposed services itself, including the type and number of equipment that was going to be used; the fee proposal and the related cost breakdown, as well as the value-added services that were proposed, including public communication, complaint management, etc. This analysis led to staff to a consensus of recommending B&R Enviro, who had the second lowest bid. So the considerations that we took into place that were in favor of B&R, he significantly had more experience in hauling waste than the other contractors that placed a bid. Provides more value-added services to the contract, including his demonstrated knowledge of MOECC acts and regulations, as well as the pertinent Ministry of Labor regulations. The intent is to be using 2 2017 garbage trucks with cart tippers. Provide detailed plans for emergency management in event of spills, hazard containment, or other environmental incidents. He also has the intent of developing a comprehensive professional health and safety program that's tailored to waste collection. Extensive experience with environmental permitting and documentation based on the work that he's done previously. Also intends on having communication plans to deal with service disruptions or changes, including media placements at his own cost. A comprehensive complaint management process using his own resources, which will reduce the administrative burden on internal staff. Through a thorough contingency plan was also provided, including waste bins made available to the public for use if proper communication strategies to the public in regards to the potential disruption, and intends to be up and running no later than the 9th of April, which is the deadline we were imposing. This submission was professionally prepared and comprehensive in its treatment of key concerns. It made staff confident that the contractual obligations, health and safety regulations, and environmental laws will all be met, exposing us to the least amount of liability for the best price. B&R's, their experience, their emergency contingency planning, and established public outreach practices are going to ensure that the contract can be implemented quickly to limit continuing public inconvenience, and run with limited administrative oversight and reducing soft costs to the municipality as a result. So the recommendation from staff, as I mentioned, is to award the contract to B&R. Obviously, council has the other options available to them to award the contract to the lowest bidder, or to any other bidder that was presented, or to not award the contract, and we can continue with the waste disposal bins that are currently in various locations through town.
Okay. Thanks very much, Ashley. We'll open it to questions from council. Jim?
Okay, thanks, Ashley. First off, this report that you provided us with was made available to me a while back, but I find all the information that I need to, you know, to come to your conclusion. It's not in here. Now, considerable amount of information was provided to us by email 3 o'clock today. I work until 4 o'clock, and I rush home, try and grab a quick shower, and I open up my computer, and there's all the information I need to make a decision. I have a problem with that. Because of that, I'm coming to council not as prepared as I should be, and less prepared than those councillors that are at home at 3 o'clock and can read through this material. So I have a real issue with that. That being said, I had a few minutes to go through this information, and I had a look at the lowest bidder, and I really don't see any problem with their submission. In the information that was provided at 3 o'clock today, it goes into issues with it being whether or not the Ministry of the Environment would have a problem with it. I think that's something that could be resolved with a quick phone call, and I would suspect that Ministry wouldn't have a problem with it. Questions about insurance with using another municipality's vehicle in town, I don't see that being a problem. Disruption of service for residents in that other municipality, that's really not our concern. The lowest bid was prepared by a local contractor, reputable contractor. I have confidence that he would be able to do this. This isn't rocket science. This is picking up garbage at the curb, throwing it into the back of a truck, and hauling it out to the dump. So I would think that a contractor who has a plan in place, the equipment available, the insurance available, I don't see why we wouldn't consider the lowest price. So for all these reasons, I've got nothing against the second lowest bidder, that it is a good proposal, but I'm going to support the lowest price in this case.
That's all.
Okay, thanks. Is there any other questions? Councillor Kiley.
Yeah, sorry, Jim, that you didn't have time to get the full review that you needed. I did, and when you weigh everything off and look at all the strength of the B&R Enviro's submission, I just feel a lot more confident. They've got the experience and a proven track record in waste management. It's a bit more than the lowest bidder. He has the equipment available immediately. I'm not convinced that the lowest bidder has that capacity. Notwithstanding that capacity to get the equipment, I still think B&R, they may not be the lowest bidder, but being the lowest bidder doesn't necessarily qualify you to do the best job. And I think B&R have that experience and a track record, so I would support B&R's submission. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Chemayard?
Yeah, I think I'm on Pat's side too. A couple of important things. We'll be utilizing 2 new trucks, 2017 trucks, which is big because that's always been some of a problem. So actually, I know we're in trouble with the MOE or MOL, whatever you call it. So will the documentation from BNR be sent to them to make sure we come back online, or?
Yes, so we'll just have to update I don't even know if we need to, because we took in landfill operations internally. I'm not sure if we need to notify MOACC of that change. We will,
Okay.
to let them know that we're changing operators, certainly, but I'm not sure if it would have any effect on the MOL.
Okay, so, but MOL will be our problem?
Yes.
So
Yeah, we
that-
still need to resolve
We have to
that
get,
issue.
exactly, that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Also, will the other problem we have is the people running the truck and all this, they weren't up to date on safety. Will that be done too before? Rick says yes, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. We had those discussions with everybody. The health and safety, once this is awarded, whoever the proponent is, they'll have to ensure that all their staff, their collection people are up to speed with all their health and safety. Absolutely, that could take a couple of days, but we're looking at April 9th, so shouldn't be a problem.
And that was the date, April 9th. Is that the date for sure, or can it be earlier?
With BNR Enviro, they can probably start as early as next Thursday. However, there could be, we would start it off as a Thursday pickup and then a Friday pickup.
Yeah.
We're recommending to just start it on the 9th, on a Monday, to avoid people putting all their garbage out on Thursday or Friday, getting some confusion at curbside, and people that get picked up on Monday might put it out on Thursday as well.
Well, yeah, but that's our problem. We just have to make sure it's advertised well. I mean, for me, if we're ready to
I mean, there
Wednesday,
is
you
the
start on Wednesday,
potential.
you start on Thursday, you start whenever it is. That's more important.
There is a potential for him to start earlier, absolutely.
Okay, that would be awesome, yeah. I think that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you. Councillor,
Rick or Ashley, the health and safety is a big concern to me as well. MOL snapped us on the fingers for not monitoring the prior contractor. What's different in this contract?
I'll take that one. We're actually modifying the contract. The contract is actually with our lawyers for review, so it's going to have the language that removes us from being the supervisor as part of the
Right.
Ontario Health and Safety regulations. So we won't be responsible for the health and safety
So we
to
don't
the extent we were when we were in the
we
previous
don't do a
contract.
direct monitoring.
No.
They report directly to
Yeah.
MOL or
Yeah.
whatever ministry governs this.
Yeah.
And this plan has to be, do we have copies of this before they operate, or?
We'll have to do a bylaw for them to sign the agreement, and the agreement, I can make sure you have a copy of it to review if you'd like.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I trust you, but you're just
Yeah.
saying you're confident that they're going to submit something. You're confident that they're going to comply. That's just words.
Well, we can't guarantee it, right?
No, I know, but we're going to get this in writing
Yes.
before the actual, the first truck goes by. The other thing is, it's a monthly contract. So if it starts on the 9th, are they getting paid for the full month, or how does this, like, what's the?
We can prorate it.
So there will be a prorating
Yeah.
side to it?
Yeah, I'm sure we can work that out.
Okay. And $100,000 for you to recommend to us a difference of almost $100,000, your confidence level has to be quite high compared to the lower bidder.
So the other thing that we took into consideration was the budgeted numbers. So we also said that we would be, I think in the budget originally, we had $100,000 budgeted towards garbage and recycling contract services. So this is actually a $25,000 reduction to the budget. So if you look at it that way, it's more positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I am confident. I'm confident with the evaluations that my staff also completed. It wasn't just me that made that recommendation. All four of us jointly all came together and said that that was the best way to move forward.
Councillor Roman.
Okay, can you, I didn't get a chance to go through it in detail. Can you clarify for me what equipment the lowest bidder was proposing to use?
I don't want to get into too much detail, because what happens is it potentially puts us at a liability of them bidding the next one, and I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm exposing too much of it.
Did they have
They had
adequate
2000s.
equipment?
Yeah, yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Okay. Well, I can understand all this concern if we're talking about a 5-6 year contract, but
Yeah.
we're talking about something that's going to get us through the next couple of months. And, okay, there may be bumps, but at the same time, we would come out of this thing $100,000 ahead. And I can't justify spending that extra money for a short-term contract. It's a contractor who, it's not just somebody who came out of nowhere. This is somebody that already has a staff, and okay, they may not be trained in waste collection, but there's not a lot of training that needs to take place. This is doable. Does their equipment have the, what's required to load the carts, or are they proposing
Did they have it?
going to bags?
The submission from BNR, the equipment does have rear cart tippers.
No, but
BNR
for
does,
the,
but
for the lower bid,
For the lower bid, it's not clear. It's just a rear loader.
okay. Well, again, I really don't see anything here that justifies spending an
that's
extra
fine.
$100,000. And that's all I got to say. Thanks.
Councillor Chamillard.
And Jim, usually I agree with you, but I mean, you keep saying it's not a big deal, a contract, but we are here because there was a big deal. There was problems. So it's more a big deal than we think it is. It has to be done right, and it has to be done within the law. That's where we are all here today.
But what do you see the lower bid doing wrong?
Well, there's I like the fact they will what is exactly the word there. They have a plan in case there's a spill and all this. That's important. I don't see it in the other bid.
But it's something we can discuss.
Well, yeah, but
with-
it should have been put there if they have it. If it's not there, I can't judge on it. I can only judge what I have on paper. That's what the sad thing is. I know we could go back and negotiate with them and say, hey, this is what we need this, you don't have that. That's all and that's all we got in trouble is that I mean, at the time I think it was the right thing because there was so much a big difference, but we got in trouble because they sort of followed the law, but not too much. I mean, the building on what street was that?
Duncan.
Duncan, yeah. When it was closed, even there was warning ahead of time. There was warning about the truck being fixed. It was not fixed. I mean, at some point, we're not babysitters also. They have a company. It has to be run right.
But that's
I
not
know,
the
I know.
contractor we're looking at. We're looking at a different contractor.
Yeah, but like, I don't think everything was there compared to the other one.
No, and
Like the
if-
spill thing is not there.
And if we were
Okay.
kicking
Okay.
around a 6-year contract,
Yeah, I
I
know,
can
I know.
understand the concern. But we're just looking for something to get us through the next couple of months.
And the tipping carts, for me, that's important. It looks clean, and that's what we went ahead with. And that's one thing I checked right away if they had it. And it's missing too. There's a few things missing, and that's why it's cheaper, I guess.
Okay, thanks, Chunky. Any other comments before I'm just going to say a few words. I share Jim's concern about the cost. There's no question. $100,000 is a lot of money to leave on the table. But having said that, you know, what Jean-Guy said is correct. I mean, that's, you know, we need to look more and more carefully at all of the Ministry of Labor issues, Ministry of Environment issues, and make sure that these contractors are living up to the letter of the law. And, you know, maybe they can handle all that stuff, but I don't believe that it was clearly articulated in their proposal. And I have to defer to staff on this. They've spent the time to sift through these documents, and I think we need to make sure that that what we're doing here is environmentally safe, and the Ministry of Labor is safe. And you know, if those things weren't in the proposal, then you know, it's unfortunate. I hope they bid on the long-term contract. I hope, you know. And apparently there's more people out there that will be bidding on the long-term contract. But, you know, having been through what we've just been through, I'm not going to ask staff to to do something that they're not comfortable with at this point, because this is, you know, I don't want to go through that again. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Any other comments before we, no, Councillor Mino.
Well, you know, in view of the circumstances and the emergency of the situation, I'd like to really commend and thank the people who actually submitted a bid. We had a very short turnaround on this, and you know, that's something, it's a reflection on this community's desire to help out. And you know, there's only going to be one successful one, but I would like to thank them publicly for having submitted a bid.
Okay. Anything else before we wrap it up? And okay, thank you very much. Okay, introduction, reading, and consideration of bylaws.
I have a motion that's moved by Councillor Kiley, seconded by Councillor Barker, that bylaw 18-047, being a bylaw to authorize mayor and clerk to execute an agreement with B&R Enviro, a contract for interim waste management services, be read a first, second, and third time, enacted and passed.
All in favor?
1, 2, 3.
Against? Thanks, Jim. Before we adjourn, I just want to make one quick comment. I just want to really commend the citizens of Kirkland Lake for stepping up and making this work. I mean, nobody anticipated this. Nobody wanted to end up with a gap in waste services, and certainly it wasn't council's intent to, you know, inconvenience anybody. But what I've seen from the majority of citizens in Kirkland Lake is quite heartwarming. People are helping their neighbors get the garbage to the bins. I mean, there's a few exceptions where people are, you know, filling the bins full of furniture, which you know, be careful, because if we catch you doing that, there's going to be repercussions. But for the most part, I'm really pleased with the citizens of Kirkland Lake, and people have stepped up and helped each other and are getting through this unfortunate situation, and we'll get this back up and running by April 9th. So thanks very much to everybody. So we'll adjourn.
It's moved by Councillor Barker, seconded by Councillor Kiley. The council adjourns its special meeting of March 17, 2017.
All in favor? Thank you.